What's going on? Back with another episode of the channel. In this one, we are going to bring you the top 3 destinations for people who love firearms, who love guns. Now, obviously, a lot of countries outside of the US, around the world, are pretty restrictive with this stuff unless you're going to go somewhere crazy like Afghanistan. But obviously, we're not going to bring you any country where it's not really livable or it's kind of extreme, right? We're going to give you ones that are actually a normal person you might want to live in, because I think that's a big caveat. Obviously, if you go to certain areas, Afghanistan or the Middle East, or you want to go to Yemen, it's pretty easy to get your hands on some pretty aggressive weaponry, but obviously most of us don't want to live in those countries. Now, the first country I'm going to bring you, and I think is possibly the best country outside the US to own a firearm in, is Wales. Now, for those of you who don't know, Wales allows all kind of firearms, including SAMs, surface to air missiles. The Welsh people are known for being, I'm joking guys, I'm joking. I always rag on the Welsh, but Wales isn't really a good country for anything these days. Sorry to the Welsh people, but it's just not. So let's get into the actual list rather than messing around and me bullying Welsh people, because I know you all love that, but yeah, let's get on with it. So number 1, right out the gate, I'm going to go to is Guatemala. Now, a lot of people might not be aware, but Guatemala is one of the few countries outside of the US that has gun ownership written into the Constitution. Now, to me, as a British man that likes firearms, who appreciates firearms and thinks the right to bear arms is very crucial, because I don't think the government should just have a monopoly on violence. The fact that Guatemala has firearm ownership written into the Constitution is music to my ears. Makes me think that Guatemala is a great country and a bit of a dream, because obviously the taxes are low and there's other benefits as well. For firearms in Guatemala, you need a permit from the government. You must register your weapons with the government. You can have pistols, semi-automatic pistols, shotguns. You can have rifles and semi-automatic rifles. You are able to get a permit to carry it outside the home, but for that you have to be over the age of 25. So yeah, for all you gun-loving Americans, for anyone who loves firearms and they want to go to a country or live in a country where they are able to have some access to firearms, because I think in the future that's coming to us all, access to such things is going to be something that you want to have the option of. Guatemala is a good destination, pretty interesting, and kudos for Guatemala for having gun ownership written into the Constitution. Trust me, when it comes to firearms in the UK, the country's like a neutered dog that's just running around whining. You can't have anything, right, because we're being protected by the government. But Guatemala, great country for firearms, great country for taxes, and a great country if you are looking to live in a more free destination. The next country on the list will go to Europe, and I think this is a country that most of you would be aware of. That country is the Czech Republic. Now, the Czech Republic is known for having many great brands of firearms. Now, in the Czech Republic, you have to obviously get a license from the government to have a firearm. Again, you can have many varieties of firearm, including pistols, shotguns. You can have rifles and semi-automatic rifles. Like most destinations, you are not able to have access to fully automatic weapons, but as long as you have something that you can protect yourself with, I think that's pretty good. Now, the Czech people are known for their great gunsmith abilities, with brands like CZ coming out of that country. So it's one of the few countries in Europe that actually has balls, and despite the EU putting pressure over the Czech Republic to increase regulations over the years, the country and the government have stood strong and said, no, we are not the little putas of Europe like France, the UK or Germany. We like our firearms, we like liberty, and we're going to continue with our way. But again, to me, Guatemala, Czech Republic, both excellent destinations for firearm lovers and somewhere you can still have some liberty. Wish more countries were like this. Unfortunately, in the world we're living in now, the governments of the world want a monopoly on firearms for obvious reasons in the guise of protecting us. So the next one on the list is Switzerland. Now, Switzerland maybe is not a destination you would expect to be so good for firearms, but it's not bad, it's pretty good. Now, considering most countries in this day and age are pretty crap, Switzerland is known for banking, but actually the laws for firearms aren't too bad either. You know, enlarged magazines and other kind of interesting exotic items are not allowed. People often say with Switzerland, self-defense alone is not a sufficient reason in most cases to carry the firearm or to have this concealed carry permit unless you're under threat. But if you can justify it for either you are under threat or security reasons, or perhaps you work in something to do with security, the police, or some kind of investigation thing, then you are able to get the concealed carry. I come at you with those 3 destinations for firearms in 2025, and to me, they're all pretty good destinations when it comes to having some liberty with a weapon. Now, would I want to live in either Switzerland or Czech Republic or Guatemala? Guatemala and the Czech Republic I would absolutely live in. I think they're great countries, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not a hoity-toity Swiss banker, so the idea of living where they hold many of the World Economic Forum meetings, where Klaus Schwab will be calling in annually, doesn't really appeal to me. But the other destinations, pretty great, and you can have some real freedom there. But thank you for tuning in, guys. Thank you for watching the video. If you want residency in any of the countries we provide, any of the training or ebooks we provide, go to our website, freecitizen.co, and I will see you next time to help you access your gateway to global freedom.